Morning. It is like 4:37 in the morning and we are leaving Ljubljana to make our way off to Split, Croatia via Flixbus. So just making our way to our next destination.
It's 2:59. We've been on the bus for 9 hours.
Yeah.
It was fine. And now we're in Split, Croatia. All right, Mike's doing his civic duty of taking a picture for a couple that came up to us. We've been using a guide, an audio app called IZI, and they have tours all over the place. And so I downloaded a tour of Split, and specifically the Dionysus fortress behind us. So we'll be following that. Behind me is a replica of the palace that we're going to be going through. The city of Split was actually started as a Greek village in the 2nd century, and then in the 3rd century this is when this was built. And then after the Romans left, the city and the townspeople started going into the fortress and making their own homes and shops and things. So even though the fortress is still as it was, it's been modernized for the people today. In Old Town, you're going to see corners like this where it's all bricked up, and that's basically to prevent people from peeing in corners. All the stones here are very slippery, especially when being wet, so be very careful if you ever come here.
We were eating lunch over at the Sexy Cow, which is across the street from the stadium, and saw a couple rugby teams starting to practice and get ready. So we're gonna go check out, we are checking out a rugby game, so this should be cool.
Hello, today we're going to do a day tour of the area around Split. So we were originally going to try and do these things on our own, but when we found a tour that does it, plus they're going to feed us all day long, we might as well do it. So we're going to go to Klis Fortress, which is where one of the scenes from Game of Thrones was shot. And then we're also going to go to Trogir. We finished our tour. It was a long day and we're very tired, but it was very, very, very good. Hello. So we had such a good time with our tour that we did the other day that we're going to do another one with that same tour group. We're going to go to Krka Falls and I believe a village. We'll have some lunch. We'll do the same kind of liquor tasting we did the other day, and then we'll come home.
It depends on what you do. For example, as a
What'd you say?
I said that is absolutely insane, the amount of water that is coming through this park.
Right now there's a lot of water here and there's places that you usually can walk but you can't today, and the water is so crystal clear and it's everywhere. It's so cool here. So we're at the famous part of the waterfall where in the past people could go swimming almost to the falls, but they'd swim in this area. In 2020 they stopped allowing people to do that, and since then turtles have come back, otters have come back, so it's been really good for nature to stop our human presence.
Put it on a skillet.
After we went to the first waterfall complex, we drove about 30 minutes and we went to a smaller one that's lesser known. That's pretty fun. It's hidden behind the forest, but here's where you can see it come out.
I would recommend 2 hours. Would that be okay? Honestly, almost a little bit scary. Now we get to the surface. Yeah.
Hello, I'm here at Marjan Park. It's about a 15-minute walk, 10-minute bike ride from city center. It's a beautiful peninsula park that they have. You can walk around it. Half of it doesn't allow cars, so you can walk and not have to worry about anyone hitting you. I took the bike from our Airbnb this morning. Mike and I walked this yesterday, and today I decided to try out the biking. The whole north side of this peninsula, basically you can go swimming everywhere. There's beaches, but then there's also just rocks that you can just put a towel down, and some places they've put cement over the rocks so it's not as pointy, which is what it is. But I think in the summer this place would just be hopping with people. At the tip of the peninsula, it looks like there's some private land here, which is a restaurant. Looks like they got some little cabin hotels and then a really cool beach. A lot of things for kids to do, so I'm sure this is a really big hit in the summer. One of the things we've learned here in Croatia is that even though there's a lot of national parks, private land is still kind of polka dotted inside of it. So there's not much that the government can do when they want to make a park, but there's private land in between, you know, one waterfall and another waterfall. They're basically to their mercy. But it's still a beautiful country and we're having so much fun here in Croatia. Tangerines and olives. This thing is absolutely huge. The way that olives are harvested is basically families come and they put a sheet down underneath the tree and then they pluck everything so that it falls under the sheet, and then they have it all ready to go. The only difference between green olives and black olives are basically how long they're on the tree. So at first they're green and then they turn black. So depending on what you want your olive oil to taste like, that's when you harvest it. The last little info I'll give you on olives is that in markets you can find people selling their olive oil. Usually it's in plastic instead of in glass because it's easier to carry. And when you get home, you change it to glass. And with that, that is the end of my olive and olive oil lessons for the day. We're getting back into town and it's getting quite busy on the road, so I'm gonna stop doing this and just make my way home.